Good morning and good evening to all. First and foremost, we hope you, your colleagues, and all loved ones are all home and safe. Thank you very much for joining today. We already have viewers from Europe, USA, Latin America, India, and many more. Most welcome to episode 2 of Tune Into Your Heart, a live, unplugged conversation between two maestros. We have with us Dr. Adizes, who founded the Adizes Institute worldwide nearly 50 years ago and is a world renowned management consultant, best selling author, and founder of the Adizes Institute for Organizational Transformation in Santa Barbara, California. With him is his guide, Mr. Kamlesh Patel, lovingly called Daaji, president and guide of Heartfulness Institute worldwide, who also teaches and guides millions of heartfulness practitioners in 160 countries. Daaji, by the way, is also a very successful entrepreneur, having set up a chain of pharmacies in New York. The first episode on April 3 was a treat. The freewheeling discussion allowed Dr. Adizes to bring in the management science perspective, and Daji complemented and brought in the spiritual perspective, making for a great fusion. Thank you for all the positive feedback for the many simple yet very effective techniques shared by Daji and Dr. Adizes that are bound to help in managing businesses, families, and your own selves, particularly in these times. On popular demand, the video is now available on YouTube as well, in addition to Facebook, for your repeated viewing pleasure. You're very likely to get new nuggets each time you view it. So now let's get on with the program. Remember, you can post your questions live. We will provide details at the end of this conversation on how you can access all the answers later. So stay tuned. So we start the session with the personal question Dr. Adizes posed to Daji at the end of episode 1 last week, which many others, particularly business owners, resonated with. He asked, I don't hate, but I reject a lot. Even I get angry in doing so. How can I overcome this tendency? So with this question, over to you, sirs.
Daaji.
Right. Well, we all have this common tendency to snap when things don't go well and things don't go as per our expectations. It's bound to happen. We are all imperfect human beings dealing with other imperfect human beings. There's bound to be some noise. There will be some discrepancies, but to what extent you want to kindle this fire of anger, if not controlled, this fire can become a wildfire and can burn the forest, can burn the organization, can burn the families. It has its long and expansive implications. So we have to understand to what extent do I have the liberty within myself to express my thoughts, how to express them, to what extent. And that's where the consciousness plays its part. How am I able to control and regulate my moods, my emotions, my anger? Of course, a person who doesn't get angry does not mean he's truly not angry. He is angry, but we have the control, we have the filter within ourselves, which we can either open it widely or zoom it and narrow it to the best possible level so as not to hurt others, but convey the message in a very constructive way. My master used to tell me, that this anger is God-given thing. It's nature's making. Anger can never be destroyed. Only thing I can do with this anger is make use of it for my own evolution, as well as make use of it as a corrective measure in a measured doses. And again, meditation comes to play where I can have control over my emotions, control over my expressions. So again, we hit the target. Meditate well so that your consciousness can improve, your focus can be regulated, your inner filter can be regulated in whatsoever we do. Either express love in measured doses or express anger in measured doses as needed. I hope this satisfies you a bit.
Daaji, let me share with you how I try to address this problem and tell me whether you think I'm on the right track or on the wrong track. Whenever we are angry, it's because we fear. Anger and fear are mirrors of each other. You're scared of something, that's why you're angry. I learned this by looking at dogs. Which dogs bark the most? Which dog bites the most? Are they little poodles, because they're scared. You look at the Doberman Pinscher, he doesn't bark a lot, he just looks at you, that's it, because he feels confident. So when you're angry, it's because you don't feel confident, you are scared. And now the question is, what are you scared of? In my case, and I think probably it applies to many other people, is that I'm not in control of the situation. And that's what makes me angry. Why am I not in control of the situation? That's how I get. Why they don't do what I want them to do? Why they don't understand what I'm talking about? Control. The way I'm trying to overcome that, and I do it in my lectures with people, I say, listen, guys, even God is not in control. If you know the Old Testament, God tried to punish the people not being righteous, and he brought a flood and killed everyone except Noah in the ark. And then after 40 days, God said, I was wrong. It does not work. I cannot control people. God, who created the world, who created everything, admits, I cannot control people. Because if he could control people, then we should all be righteous. How come we are not righteous? Because he cannot control us. So who am I to control people?
True.
So that's what I constantly tell myself. My anger comes from arrogancy, from being arrogant to believe that I can control anything. The moment you admit even God cannot control, and I'm not beyond God, I do my best, and if he does not listen, they don't listen. Then I have to do something about it, like fire the guy, say, listen, I cannot work with you. Thank you very much. Love you dearly. Goodbye. But you cannot control them. You can only control what you do, not what they do. And that is, I think, how I try to overcome my anger.
Have you seen Dr. Adizes that when, at least I can say about myself, when I usually get angry, when we are having discussions, let us say with children, and children, they quote you back and say, Dad, you said so. Or your wife ends up telling you and correcting you, then your ego gets bruised, you see. When you are reminded of the truth which you don't like, then too, we lose.
They take the mask away. When they take the mask away and they show you your real face,
So when someone reminds us what is true, I think we should listen properly and take it. It is for my advantage that this criticism is made. And criticisms are generally good if we look at it in a positive. It's up to us how we want to interpret the situation.
I think the common denominator is humility rather than arrogance. Arrogant people get very angry. Humble people accept reality, don't have to get angry, deal with themselves, control themselves, don't try to control others, and that's the end of the story. Let me pick up it.
I'm sorry. I keep, whenever I think of Babuji Maharaj and some of his nuggets, some of his wisdom, single liners, I love it so much. He says there is nothing wrong when you consider yourself to be great. It's okay, go ahead. I'm so and so. But always remember the other person is greater.
Ooh. You know what? There is a certain personality style which, unfortunately, I belong to. These are the very creative, very aspiring, whatever you call it. You know, usually entrepreneurs, very big entrepreneurs, they get very angry with other people because they don't see the other people as being greater. Their motto, and this is Trump is a perfect example, is it's difficult to soar with the eagles when you're surrounded by turkeys. They believe everybody around them is a turkey and they have to be to soar with the eagles when you're surrounded by turkeys. That's what the problem is. I think we are back to the same thing, which is humility.
It's a key. It's a key.
Humility is, I think, the question, the answer to a lot of our problems. Not to believe you can control the world, not to believe that you can control everything. And the more you want to control, the more angry you will be because you will be surprised. You cannot control.
You know, Dr. Adizes, I see one beautiful question, and I think you are expert in this. It is from Rodrigo. He
Rodrigo.
asked,
Yeah.
yeah, he said, what are the mindset changes that an entrepreneur should do in order to be successful in the emerging new world?
I would like to answer that question because it's related to some other questions that come together a pattern. But I need 5 minutes. Daaji, it also relates, as a matter of fact, it is a question. What are the repercussions of this corona big crisis? It's an enormous global crisis. Because it's so enormous, we have to look at it in a wider time span than just like this. If we look at history of civilization, what do we see? We started as chimpanzees. The strongest chimpanzee was a leader. Then we were a nomadic society. The strongest hunter was a leader. Then we were agricultural society. The person with the most land was a leader. Common denominator, muscles, power. The most powerful was a leader, muscles. Then came the industrial society, the industrial revolution. And now muscles were still important, but the brain started playing a role. And that you had to do supply chain management, inventory control, production management, whatever. The brain came to play. After that came the information society. That's what we live now in, where the brain is much more important and the muscles are much less important. The biggest hotel in the world doesn't have one hotel, Airbnb. The biggest taxi hotel doesn't have one taxi, Uber. What do they have? Information. What is Google collecting? Information. What is Amazon collecting? Information. All of that, Facebook, information. We live the information society. That is now the advantage. But here it is, here comes the corona. You see how the corona is another flexing point of civilization. The brain is on its way out. Why? With that quantum computing and with artificial intelligence, the computers are going to be stronger than our human mind. And they're even talking in Israel, I read in the newspapers, that the future war, the generals are going to look at the computer what to do. All the information goes to the computer. Computer tells you attack or don't attack, because the computer is stronger than the human mind. So the mind is out. What is the next step, Daaji? That's why I love heartfulness, the heart. The next step in the development of civilization is the heart. And God forbid we don't develop the heart. We are going to be a brain without a heart with enormous power of technology. This is called Nazi Germany. Nazi Germany was not a fluke. It was a warning of where the civilization is going to go unless we develop the heart. So what should the entrepreneur do in this emerging new world? My dear friend, the future company that's going to be successful is a company with a heart. Because nobody can replace a heart. It will, how much you really truly love your customer rather than exploit your customer to make money. I said, in my lectures, I've seen once a restaurant that had a big sign on the wall that said, "We will not feed you the food we don't give our children." I'm a customer. I'm a customer. If you love me as much as you love your children, I trust you. I'm your customer. Do you really care for me? Make money. We are not here losing money, but with love rather than with exploitation. Today we are exploiting. We don't care what the customer wants. We see what we can sell him. And we are selling him toxic food. We are making them obese, getting diabetes, getting heart attacks, making money. That's not love, that's exploitation. The business and future entrepreneur is impact business. Make money with the heart. The more heart, the more successful we're going to be. And if we don't develop the heart, we are ready for Nazi Germany to come back again.
Wow. Wow. That's a warning. Well, you have answered a lot of questions which are already there. Similar one is asked by Rajiv.
You see, that's also related to question number 2. It says, face-to-face meetings are a key to building strong relationship in the business and personal world. What will be the impact of physical distance in the coming days? Look, my friends, there is no physical distance for the heart. When you love, there is no physical distance. When you love, there is no time and there is no space. Somebody can be thousands of miles away and you feel them as if they're next to you. Somebody died, you still feel them next to you. Because when you love, there is no space and there is no time. So all this physical distance is not relevant. What is really relevant is how do you feel about other people. And what the corona is doing now, it's very interesting, I'm watching it. It's forcing us now to love. And those that don't love are going to fall apart. We live in a new Darwinian time, Darwin. The strong are going to get stronger, the weak are going to disappear. Who is going to disappear? Those that don't have love. A family locked in a room, in an apartment, for 2 weeks, cannot go out. If there is no love in that family, as soon as the corona is finished, they're getting divorced, it's finished. There is no more family. Corona is a stress test. Stress test. How much love do you have in your life? It's a stress test. And those that don't have it, the stress test is going to prove it to them. You don't have it, goodbye. Darwin was right. And who is going to survive? Those that use this time to strengthen the relationship. We are on the phone, we are on the Zoom, we talk to each other, to friends that we did not talk for years. We are rediscovering them. How are you doing? How are you doing? What do you need? What's happening here? These are the ones that are going to survive and have a future. And those that are sitting there and cursing and getting angry and attacking everyone, ciao, you're gone. You're gone. So
Well,
the physical distance has nothing to do with it.
there are many businesses. For example, many pharmacies are there now. You see Walgreens and CVS. They just declared earlier, they would refuse delivering to the patient's residence. But now, in order to benefit from this particular pandemic, where there is no direct patient's contact with the pharmacy, now they're going out of their ways, hiring more people so they can deliver medicine from pharmacy to the resident's house. So the business model has at least temporarily changed. Some grocery stores, for example, those who do not have the manpower to hire laborers or delivery men will perish. You have to have some ability to sustain for this at least a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or hire people, or make use of the present help and start delivering what you have in your premises. I think delivery is the key at the moment. Food services, home to home delivery; grocery services, home to home delivery; emergency item, medicines, milk, home deliveries. I think this will take predominance for another few months as this lockdown continues.
What's behind it, Daaji, is care.
Care.
I care.
Right.
You see, that's when the heart comes to the game. You are doing it. You could make money without caring, but it's short term. It's not going to survive. The corona is forcing us. We are at a flex point, like the movement from nomadic society to agriculture, from agriculture to, this is a fifth movement in the transition of society, of humanity. This is that we're really now witnessing the transition from information society to spiritual society, to heart. Those that don't have the spirit, those that don't have the heart, are going to disappear in the future.
That's what
because,
my master said also.
They don't have the competitive advantage. Brain is not the competitive advantage anymore. Muscle is not the competitive. And we talked about it last time, Daaji. Why India is so important, because it should be the what is it called? The light, that
spiritual light.
Yeah, because you see, so many people are enchanted with meditation, with yoga, with all these practices, Indian practices. That's what's emerging. What's emerging is the importance of the heart, of spirituality as a competitive advantage for surviving, not just for succeeding, for surviving in the future. Those that don't have this.
Babuji said, and I think I shared with you also last time, that the nations that will not adopt spirituality at its base will perish.
Absolutely. They're all, look, very interesting. How come the Catholic Church is 2,000 years old? Show me another organization that's 2,000 years old. All religions are long. Businesses are short. Even the oldest business is 200 years old, 300 years old. Nobody is 2,000 years old. You know why? Because all religions sell the same thing, love. And love is permanent. That is, they're selling a product that is unperishable. And that is where the heart comes to game. The Catholic Church is going to be in a decline, because with all this pedophilia and with all the corruption, what happened? They're talking about love, but what is behind it is not love. They are in trouble. And Adizes, by the way, is consulting to quite a few, this nice Jewish guy, consulting to some major Catholic movements, because they are in trouble. Why? If you want to survive, you better be genuinely love. Genuine love. The moment it's not genuine, you're going to disappear. We need that for continuity because love is integration. Is it not interesting, Daaji, that the symbol of love is a diamond? Why diamond? It is the most integrated metal there is, mineral there is, the strongest. That's why love has to be like this. Love is integration. And who is going to survive? The most integrated. And the corona is a test of your integration.
I welcome your thought. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know, this morning I read news that one couple, actually, it's been going on and on and on and on, but it precipitated to such an extent that husband got up, took the gun, blew her head, shot himself, end of the story. I mean, you see to what extent this weakness gets exposed when you are together. So the weak links are ending. This is, as you say, just the test of your integration. It's a test of your love, or it's going to break you. If it breaks you, you're not in love. It just.
You see, all relationships, I think, by nature, because of change, have cracks. Oh, I mean, nothing is perfect. There are always cracks. The corona is testing how strong is the crack. And if it's not strong and if it becomes a Grand Canyon, you're finished. What you should do during this time of the corona, and that's what I'm recommending to all my clients around the world, get together by Zoom. Now is the time to fix the cracks in the company. Now is the time to fix the cracks in your marriage. Now is the time to fix the cracks in your personal life. That's what I'm saying is now is the time to meditate double and triple. Because now you have the time. God is giving you an opportunity, time, which we didn't have before. We were running from one plane to the other, from one client to the other, from one business to the other, from one meeting to the other. All at once it stopped. God says, stop. Now let me test you. And now you have a time. What should you do in this time? Sit down and curse and get angry and really be upset and fall apart. Thank you, you're done. Or close the cracks in your life. Clean up your office. Clean up the work. Sit down and talk to people and find out how can you clean up and integrate better so that at the end of this corona test, you're stronger than how you walked into the crisis. So you use the crisis as an opportunity to be stronger after the crisis than how you were before the crisis. I said, now is the time. The family is together. Great. Sit down. What can we do to make our family even stronger? Where are we weak? Where did we have problems? What can we do so we don't have these problems in the future as a family? Wow. Same thing for the company. Now is the time. Is our reward system good? Is our strategy good? Is our product good? Is our structure good? Is our information flow good? Clean up the past for a better and stronger future. This is your opportunity. Use the opportunity to do that. And if you do that, integrate, you come stronger out in the future.
No, there is a question here from Vasilis.
Yes.
And I think I would wish that you take it further. There are several choices to be made in business, several dilemmas. Each has its own repercussions. How do we get clarity to take the best decision?
This is right out, Vasily. I'll give you a short answer. The long answer is read my 26 books. Let me get there. Look, my friend. Nobody is perfect. Start with that. Nobody can make the best decisions and not fail. We already said, even God made a mistake. He admits it, by the way. Even admits it that he's forgetful. So when it starts to rain, he brings a rainbow to remind him, stop the rain, stop the rain. To remind him to stop the rain because he forgot. You see how human is God, how human is God. So what do? Since you know you're not perfect, you cannot make all the best decisions, the right decisions all the time and always be right. Good luck. Unless you are Trump. So what do you do now? Have a complementary team. Have people that disagree with you respectfully, so you can learn from them. That's what I want to discuss with you, Daaji, when we are separate meeting, and then probably take a session, special session for that purpose. And now there is a better chance you're going to make a good decision because somebody compliments you. By the way, that's why you should listen to your wife. She compliments you. You know, she will point to you weaknesses in your argument, which you don't like because you're a macho. You want to be right all the time. Good luck. She will tell you what or the spouse doesn't want to be your wife. It could be your husband. A marriage is a complementary team because children need a complementary team to grow. You cannot raise a child single parent. So the first thing, Vasily, is have a complementary team. To have people who respectfully disagree with you so that you cannot make a mistake. They will proactively point to weaknesses in your argument, make you make a better decision. Next. That doesn't mean you're not going to make a mistake. You're going to make a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake. As I said, even God made a mistake. Even when you have a complementary team. By the way, even up there is a complementary team. What is the devil doing up there? What is the devil doing up there? Uncontrollable by God. God doesn't control the devil. From my point of view, the world was created not by God alone, by the God and the devil. We are a little bit devil and a little bit God in ourselves. We are both. We are created by both. So have a complementary team, and then you're going to make a mistake. Now listen, a mistake is not a mistake. A mistake is not a mistake. A mistake is to believe it's a mistake. A mistake is an invitation to learn. So anytime you say, oh my God, it did not work what I wanted, that what you call it's a mistake, ask yourself, where did I go wrong? What is it that I did not know? What it is that I did not think? What it is I didn't take into account? What was wrong in the process of making a decision so that you can make a better decision next time? Every mistake is an invitation to learn. People ask me, Dr. Adizes, how come you have so much, let's say, wisdom? I said, because I made a hell of a lot of mistakes in my life. A lot of mistakes, let me tell you. I'm a champion of mistakes. But I learn from every mistake. Every mistake I say, okay, hold it. What does God want me to know? What is he telling me? What is the lesson? What was the lesson here? So that's called experience. That's why I want to hire a person with experience. What does experience mean? He failed a lot. That's what it experience means. And he learned from that experience. So, Vasilis.
Thank you. Thank you.
Best way to make best decisions, have a complementary team. And from every mistake, learn so you can make a better decision next time. That's the only way you can do it.
Well, we have a saying that there are fools or stupid people, even after making mistakes, they don't realize they made a mistake.
Oh yeah, sure. only afterwards.
Only after, even then, some of them, they don't accept it.
Oh, that's a problem.
There are other groups of quite smart individuals who, while committing a mistake, they know it's a mistake, but it's too late to correct. But then there are smarter ones, wiser ones, who even before doing anything, they think through in their mind feel it in the heart and say, oh, if I do this, this is not going to be right. So always listening to the heart, I think we can avoid 99% of our mistakes. See, whenever I had to make a business decision or any decision currently in the spiritual arena regarding my work, always refer to my heart. And whenever it's a wrong decision, my heart will become heavier. Whenever it's unnatural, whenever something is not right, whenever something is not falling in place, your heart becomes very heavy. For example, when you have to speak a lie, your heart will become heavy. But when you have to speak the truth, heart will not give any signal for speaking the truth. So similar thing happens when I have to choose between multiple things and come to one single conclusion. I think I would apply the principle of deduction. Not this, not this, not this, not this, and wait for some time till the real decision truly crystallizes in your heart and say, oh, wow, this is the thing to be doing. Follow your heart.
You pointed something. I use this as a technique I teach in my training. When you don't know what to do and you have multiple choices and you're really confused and you don't know what to do, I say, listen, sit down and make a list of all the choices. Make all the choices. If you have too many of them, make them into a pattern because some of them are similar together. And now let's assume we have 10 choices. There is no more. By the way, I also include something I call the goat. And this goes from a Jewish story of a rabbi. There was a family that lived, too many of them in the same room, I don't know, extended family, 15 of them in one apartment. It was terrible. So they went to the rabbi and said, Rabbi, what should we do? It's terrible to live like this. He says, bring a goat into the apartment. A goat. The 10 of us plus a goat. How can we do it? Bring a goat. So they had a goat in the apartment. After 3 months, they went back to the rabbi. What should we do now? Take the goat out. Now they were so happy, take the goat out. So what we do is we write down all the choices, including a ridiculous one. I call it a ridiculous one, which means there is no more. All of them are there. Now, do it by what you did, Daaji. Which one is the worst? The other 9 are better. Out. Which one is the worst? Out, 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 out. What is left, that's your best decision. But I don't like it. Well, you don't have a choice. That's your best. We always want something that does not exist. My dear friend, this is the best you can have. The guy tells me, I really don't like my wife. Can you get a better one? No, shut up. That's the best you can get. What do you want? That is the best you can have. So you look at all the choices and you take the best of the worst. That's the best I can have at this point in time. And now live with reality. We live in a world when we don't accept reality and we are constantly kicking. No, my dear friend, there is no what you want. There is what you have. Can you live with what you have at this point in time? Situation might change. At this point in time, that's the best you can do, period.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that.
Daaji, I want to pick up a question. If somebody is really constantly telling me to ask you because, and I have no idea. What do you think about the 5G, this new development that people are scared of, but on the other hand, they say yes. Do you have any idea about this 5G?
If you want a short answer from me, it's bad news.
You think it's bad news, right?
It's very bad news. It's a disaster. See, I tell you, our human system, especially the most vital one, is the nervous system. See, we have muscular system, we have musculoskeletal system, there are so many other things. The main one, which makes us communicate, is the nervous system, nerves. nerves. Even this, your eyes may be perfect, but slight cut in the nerve, you can't see. Similarly, your ears. Similarly, your center, which recognizes the smell, recognizes the taste, touch. These are all related to nervous system. And this entire nervous system is played out via electromagnetic field that it creates within itself. It has its own frequency. Now, you hold a phone and see what happens. You hold a phone for more than an hour, keep it on and hold it, your hand will start burning, start paining. Even if you're putting your hand in a bed, most relaxed position, and you are having a phone like that. One day I was doing a research in a lab of one of our friends who is a doctor. And there he took my blood sample and tried to measure the movements, to see the movement of red blood cells. They were forming a colony, and depending on the colony formation, they predict the kind of disease you may have, you may get into, or what you already have. But then I had the idea, instead of RBC, red blood cells, let's measure the movements of my white blood cells. The blood sample was already there sitting on the slide more than 10 minutes. So all the white blood cells were settled and almost on the verge of death. They were not moving at all. And then I said, put the phone, 4G phone, near the microscope and see the movement of this, what happens to white blood cells. Moment we put the phone, active phone with Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on, the WBCs, white blood cells, which were static and not moving, came to life. They started moving, and their walls were, getting into the phagocytic phase. They became all of a sudden extremely defensive to secure the system, even though they were almost dying on a slide. Now imagine what happens if you have million times more potent vibrations than 4G, which is 5G. What happens to those WBCs? You may not even have to hold the phone in your hand. It's just there all around in your hair. You may not use even a phone. So they did notice in Finland and Norway and other places, the moment they brought in 5G, the birds started dropping from the sky. They couldn't handle 5G, so they abolished the use of 5G in many countries who are aware of these problems. But there are many countries who will let go of this. They will look around sideways and say, okay, you do your business. So I think we have to somehow resist this implementation of 5G wherever possible. And government, they think that they're doing such a great service to the public by offering free 5G, which is so fast. It's damaging.
I absolutely agree with you, and I would like to put it in my managerial lingo. There is something called in economics, economies of scale. That, by being bigger, you may save money. But there is something also called diseconomies of scale. When you're too big, you become bureaucratic, and now you're losing money, not making money. Same thing with technology. Technology is good up to a certain point. After that, it becomes diseconomy. This is not serving us, it's hurting us. We went beyond, we are going beyond. And I think that's what's happening now, is our technology is becoming dangerous to us. It is like with these economies of scale. It is, there is an expression in my Sephardic language, todo que es demasiado no vale. Everything that is too much is no good. If you eat too much strawberries, you also can get sick. Anything that is too much, moderation is the answer. Technology is getting too much. Too much. It is not helping us anymore. Our standard of our standard of life is going higher with the technology. Our quality of life is going down. People are miserable. Psychotherapy, psychologists, diseases, mental diseases. Depression is the fastest growing disease in the world today. Suicide of teenagers. What's going on? Families are falling apart. Everything is falling apart. Our body is falling apart because standard is going up with the technology. Quality is going down. Look how beautiful is the place you live, Kana. Back to nature, to simplicity, back to be simple. Who is going to survive in the future? The people that take life simple. Too
Thank
much
you.
is
Thanks.
not good.
Thank you, Dr. Adizes. It's such a
Okay, my
beautiful
friend.
advice. I lead life simply.
Right, simple.
Less is
Simple.
more. Beautiful.
Okay, well, Daaji, we'll see you next week. Same time, same place, same channel, same smile.
Thank you, and thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks to see so
Okay.
many of
And
you.
I publish a blog every week, by the way, every Friday. Anybody wants to subscribe to my blog, it's going to show up somewhere on the screen how you can subscribe. All the best.
Thank you.
Daji, you were going to say something. Maybe you can to conclude.
Well, I see so many of our friends joining us from everywhere, and I appreciate. It'd be nice to get their feedback on this. And please join us and meditate with us. You'll immensely benefit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Uh, really, really good. We're privileged to hear and be part of this terrific conversation. To all the viewers, please hold on for a couple of minutes more as we give you some information on how to access some very useful resources. It'll be shared on the screen and we'll go through that. Both Adizes and Heartfulness, both the institutes, as you may know, provide a very proven method and way to create an environment of mutual trust and respect, complete integration, which is the need of the hour. Adizes does so in organizations, and Heartfulness does so in individuals. So now let's just see where we are. Okay. So you've got the slide showing up. This is the Heartful Adizes page, which is www.adizes.com/heartfulness. And there you'll have lots of micro practices, free books, the recordings of the videos, insights, video blogs of all relevant micro practices that can help you, particularly in this time, and otherwise manage your businesses and yourselves better. Could we have the next slide? And of course, you can, as far as Heartfulness is concerned, please stay connected with Heartfulness as well. The Tune in Your Heart, which is this series, please join back again next week, same time, same links, but we will be sending it out again. And this time we are on YouTube as well as Facebook, and we'll continue to remain that way. There is a COVID-19 relief fund. If you would care to donate there, we're taking care of food and essentials for about 12,000 people from one location in Hyderabad, but also all other organizations, all of the centers are doing what they can. And we've got webinars that are happening almost on a daily basis, as well as a new service which has started, which is Voice That Cares. So if you have a mental health issue, or you are stressed, you're anxious, please do call the Voice That Cares helpline, and someone will be there to help you, as well as the Hello Life, which is Conversations Unplugged. Well, for self-learning, there's no better time than now for this self-learning, because time is one commodity that more families have, more individuals have. There's a lovely magazine, which is the Heartfulness Magazine. You can subscribe to it. The livecast is on this link, heartfulness.org/livecast. And then the master classes, there's a Udemy class as well as the masterclass on the Heartfulness website, which will be useful. And of course, there's a Hearts app, which is a mobile app. All of this information, along with a lot of managerial information to manage your companies, you will get it from the main page of Heartful Adizes, which is www.adizes.com/heartfulness. And remember, heartfulness with single L, double S. With that said, hopefully you would have tried the left nostril breathing and managing your problems better, being able to collate them better, like what was discussed last time. And some tips from this time will help you as you go along. Thank you very much for joining. See you next week, same time.